Hello guys, once again it's Matt, and today we have another video. Thank you all the members, all the Patreons. Make sure to subscribe and let's get into it, guys. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about the R-27R and how we basically don't need the R-27ER, guys. Again, I already did a video like when it was added like 6 months ago, and I really wanted to actually fly doing BVR, trying to actually push the limit with the missile, with the normal R-27, to see if we actually could survive without the ER, right? We are in the R-41 just to make sure we have 4 missiles, just to like push it a little bit as well. But you can do this with the MiG-29 as well. It has an amazing radar as well. Might not be the best thing ever, but it is pretty good and you can use it correctly. And as you're going to see here, man, something very funny will happen. Like, see, I'm looking for a target, you know. You can see that I am quite low a little bit for such a long range shot, and I am quite slow as well, but this is normal for the start of a match, right? I'm starting to actually try to find a target that it would be a little bit better for me to actually shoot, and I find this one, and I am able to shoot at around 40 kilometers. Guys, 40 kilometers is the range of the AIM-7F, if you don't remember. It's basically that. You can push it to 45, but beyond that you basically cannot do, and that's due to the Seeker head of the Sparrow, which has a 45 kind of limitation, range limitation on it. The R-27 has like 25, something like that. I hear some sources is actually 40, but it has the INS, right? So we can push it a little bit more. But as you see, man, yes, hit. A 40 kilometer shot with a hit. Basically the same as you can do with the Sparrow. And to be honest, the Sparrow is still lacks a little bit because it doesn't have the inertial navigation system. It doesn't have the data link in a way that you can actually make sure the missile doesn't explode. I have to go defensive over here. And my point being is that, yes, we have the Phoenix missile. The Phoenix missile is kind of a disbalance if you ignore the R-27 a little bit. And then just think about like this, actually. If we actually remove the R-27ER, the R-27R would be basically on par with the normal AIM-7F and AIM-7M. But then the Americans would have the Phoenix. But they're like, do you really believe the Phoenix is that OP? You know, I don't know. I just feel like they kind of jumped the gun back in the day. When the MiG-29 was added, the radar was almost unusable. You know, it was really bugged. And it took a while for them to fix, but like a month later or something like that, they actually fixed the radar, and the radar became a little bit better. Eventually, it became a lot better, I think, like shortly before the first patch of the year. And now it's alright, and now we have other aircraft that have these radars, better radars, like the Yak-41, and we have the R-27ER on that as well. So, I don't know, like I said, I think he kind of jumped the gun on adding the R-27ER because the stats of the MiG-29 were kind of bad due to the lack of performance of the radar, you know. The R-60M is a missile that in the right hands can do a lot of stuff, but in the wrong hands it can be very bad as well. And then the main missile it becomes the R-27, right? And if you have a bad radar, the R-27R would have problems. But you could clearly see, man, that the R-27R, the normal one, has basically the same energy as the AIM-7F, as the AIM-7M. Maybe a little bit less, obviously, on the long run it obviously has less energy. But it has enough energy. That's the point, you know. The ER, I think, was too much of a big jump for us to actually have. And it made it so that in the BVR arena, in the semi-active missiles, the NATO aircraft, or basically any country that don't have the R-27 ERs, basically suffers a lot. Even the Phoenix with the F-14, right? And I think they actually had this idea of adding the F-14B with the AIM-54C, and basically the counter to it is an AIM-54. which we can all agree that I think it's less effective, right, than the M54, the R-27. So R-27s are way more effective than the Phoenix getting kills, short range or long range. Of course, eventually in a very, very, very long range shot, yes, the M54 will have the advantage, but overall the R-27ER is a better missile. Just a more reliable weapon, I would say, because it turns better, right? Having that extra energy and having a better acceleration as well, I think. So it's problematic. I really don't understand why they added the R-27ER. Don't get me wrong, I love it, and of course it's an amazing weapon, right? But, I don't know, fly the F-16 and fly a MiG-29 with the Sparrows against the R-27ERs, and, you know, all the, like, with the MiG-29 as well against that F-16. You clearly see where the advantage is. And even the F-15, we already did some videos talking about the F-15 and stuff. And let's be honest, man, even with the amazing APG 63 Raider, the F-15 will still have the same limitation. I already did videos covering, as I said, which is the seeker head of the Sparrow. It will still limit the range that you can actually fire. It doesn't mean that, you know, BVR isn't the most, like, important part of a flight, don't get me wrong, but still, it is an important part. And I think it has another factor to it, which is just having the INS makes your missile not explode just after you lose a lock. You actually has, for example, the R-27s, it has 60 seconds for you to regain the lock and try to fire it again. Something that the F-15 will not have, because it just fires Sparrows initially, right? Of course, if they are adding with the M120s, which I doubt when they are added initially, that problem becomes obsolete because everybody will have a Fox 3 like that. But if the F-15, for example, is added right now, it will still get outranged, and to be honest, against the Yak-41, in any type of situation above like 10 kilometers, you will have a disadvantage, which is very, very, very problematic, I think. And like I said, the ER was just kind of jumping the gun too much, you know. It was a missile that, although it is very cool to have it, I don't think we need it. And the R-27R is already kind of the missile, like, that has the same level of performance in general than the Sparrow. So, I don't know, guys. Let me know in the comments, what do you think about it? Do you think they jumped the gun with the ER? Do you think the R-27ER was too much? Or do you think it was necessary? Leave it in the comments, and I see you guys on the next one.